President told reporters earlier that if he were you, he would have the governor of California arrested.
You can protest if you want. You have that First Amendment right. But when you cross the line of putting your hands on an ICE officer, impeding our enforcement operations, knowingly harboring, concealing illegal alien, that's a crime. And I said last night, if they can protest all they want, when they cross that line, we'll seek prosecution. And when I reporter asked me, would that include politicians like Mayor Bass or Governor Newsom? I said, well, of course. It includes anybody that commits a crime.
But Governor Newsom has not done anything to warrant an arrest.
That's CNN host Caitlin Collins trying to trap Trump's border official Tom Homan with tough questions, but it didn't work. He responded with common sense and facts. Meanwhile, Democrat leaders are letting Los Angeles become a safe zone for cartels, and Homan isn't going along with their narrative. Welcome to Nurk News. I'm Nurkish. CNN is still trying to call full-blown riots peaceful protests, when Marines come in to stop the violence. Somehow, that's what CNN sees as the real problem. It's almost impressive how hard they try to act like everything's fine, even while people are burning down property. And instead of focusing on the chaos, the media complains about Trump's tone. Watch as Collins tries to claim Trump's decision to send in the National Guard is too extreme, only for Tom Homan to completely shut her down.
Well, and they're arguing that LAPD and the local law enforcement was handling it just fine and that the National Guard was not required. But I just want to follow up on the Marines, because obviously that is a headline that people see that. And it might alarm some people to see that hundreds of Marines have been activated to potentially be deployed. You're commending the LAPD. Do you believe Marines could be necessary?
Yes, and it all depends on the activity of these protesters. I mean, they make the decisions. I keep hearing media reports that they're rioting because President Trump sent National Guard. It's just ridiculous. They make the decision to burn a vehicle. They make the decision to throw a weapon at an law enforcement officer. They make the decision on assaulting officers. This is their decision. President Trump doesn't make them burn a vehicle or assaulting an officer. President Trump is leaning forward, giving us the resources to be here, to be ready to take on what's next. We don't know what's going to happen tonight. It seems like at night, the crowds get bigger, the violence peaks. So we want to be ahead of the game. We want to be well prepared with the military here to protect government and protect officers' lives.
Calling these riots peaceful is like calling fentanyl a health supplement. It just doesn't make sense. The riots in L.A. didn't start because people were peacefully marching for dignity. They exploded because ICE targeted the cartels where it really hurts. Their money. Caitlin Collins wants people to focus on how things look, acting like Trump is acting like a dictator. But he's just doing what weak liberal mayors won't, enforcing the law. Tom Homan isn't playing along with the media's story. He's seen what happens when Democrats let chaos take over. What's burned in 1965, South Central in 1992, LA in 2020, and now again in 2025. It keeps happening because the left keeps rewarding violent behavior. Now Collins is trying a different tactic, emotional blackmail. She claims the riots haven't changed anything, hoping that'll make ICE feel guilty and stop deportations.
Well, some people may look and say, if this has not been something that any president has done and hasn't happened since the 1960s, is this the worst protest that has happened since then, warranting that?
Look, I was on the ground Friday night where hundreds and hundreds of protesters who were protesters all of a sudden became criminals. They breached a federal building that had to be pushed back, where officers were at risk. Detainees that we had arrested were at risk. Officers have been injured. Property's been destroyed. So, yeah, if the Democratic leadership wasn't taking action, President Trump stepped up and took the action. I've been on the ground. I've seen the worst of the worst down there, so I'm glad President Trump reacted to save lives and property.
Yeah, I was just in L.A. on Friday as well. But you're saying these operations, the ICE operations in the Los Angeles area, are continuing right now?
Yes, absolutely. We got over 100 teams out there doing Title VIII operations.
Okay, and those will continue over the next several days, I imagine, is what you're arguing?
They'll continue every day, not only in California and Los Angeles. They're going to continue in every city across the country. We have teams throughout the country that are out there looking for those in the country illegally. We're prioritizing public safety threats and national security threats. We're looking for people who've had due process, had order removal from a judge that didn't leave. So rather, we're in every city in the country, and ICE is going to be out every single day, and will continue to be out there, regardless of what's happening in LA. They're not going to stop us from completing our mission. We're going to enforce the laws of this country.
This is honestly just sad. Back in 2020, Kamala Harris was supporting bail funds for violent rioters while police stations were being burned down. But now that ICE is doing its job, suddenly people want a ceasefire? Tom Homan isn't backing down. The raids are still happening. Deportations are still happening. And the fake outrage from the media keeps failing. This isn't about compassion. It's about protecting the cartel's money pipeline. The cartels are losing hundreds of millions of dollars. And the people out on the streets? They're not peaceful protesters. They're working for cartels. Homan makes it clear. These riots are revenge for an ICE operation that uncovered one of the biggest money laundering networks in LA's history. Here he is on Dr. Phil, explaining what really started the riots.
This warehouse and retail outlet that you served warrants on, the belief is, and the evidence suggests, that this is a cartel-related business here in the United States, that this money, the $80 million that they are suspected of undervaluing, the double-digit millions in tariffs that they are suspected and will be charged with violations on, income tax evasion. You believe that all of that is benefiting an illegal cartel, a cartel in Mexico or Colombia? Do you know which cartel?
No, it's a larger investigation, and this company is one of many that we're searching and gathering evidence on the fact that much of the money in this industry is laundered to Colombia and Mexico in support of cartel activities. We also got tax evasion, and we also got customs fraud. And, ICE, big part of ICE responsibilities are customs laws, customs enforcement. So this is one business out of many we're looking at. So it's a part of a bigger investigation. And as we gather more and more evidence, then we'll decide what we want to criminally prosecute.
Once you understand this, everything starts to make sense. The raid in the fashion district wasn't just a normal police action. It was a direct attack on cartel money. Tom Homan says they found hundreds of millions of dollars being laundered through just one warehouse. That money was being used for drugs, smuggling, and more. That's why these riots are happening. Not because of immigration policies, but because the Trump administration is cutting off the cartel's funding. Meanwhile, CNN is angry about the National Guard being called in. But Trump isn't sending troops just for show. He's doing it because these rioters are a real threat. If he gives up now, it sends a dangerous message. Riot hard enough, and you'll get your way. That would turn ICE into a weak agency begging for permission, and the border chief into just another powerless official. But that won't happen under Homan's watch. What do you think? Should Trump give in to cartel-funded riots, or keep targeting the money behind all this chaos? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps. Thanks for watching. This has been News.